Hey guys. So I'm jumping on here just really quickly because I wanted to see if any of I've made some new edits. I've been able to go on here. Look, look, it worked. It actually effing worked. Bitches. That's amazing. Okay, so if it worked, that's amazing. That's all I ask, right? I am able to see your comments when I look down and I say, all destinations. Hopefully, I can see them all. I can see Vanessa. If you're on here and I'm not seeing you, that makes me nervous. That makes me sad. And I want to kind of know throughout using this the best way to do that. So let me put my headphones on because I feel like I'm talking really loudly. Hi, Rose. Hi, Derek. How has your week been, guys? So it's Wednesday. We're halfway through. Tomorrow we're going to wake up. It's Thursday. It's going to be time to take action. It's going to be a good day. I'm actually fully caught up on all of my readings, which is really exciting because that means that I get to, at that point, like go and send out my newsletter and go work on my collaborations and some of the projects that I have pending, which for me is really, really exciting. But I do have a few things here, guys. I've got some crystal sales going on for anyone in my Gypsy Tribe or Patreon. You're going to see some crystal pop-ups, some crystal sales, the most beautiful galaxy amethyst you've ever seen in your life, and just some really cool stones. And if you were a part of our last crystal auction, then you are probably receiving your gifts and getting all of your openings. And don't forget to tag us online and tag me online whenever you're doing that unboxing because I want to see it. I want to see your energy when you open it from wondering further. You're going to love it. So anyway, I'm going to be doing some reading. I'm going to be doing some more of my morning sessions. A lot of it has been saved for my Patreon because I'm really trying to build that content and decide if I like that platform. But I did have a little bit of time to come on tonight and talk to you guys about the readings that I'm offering, some really cool astrological collaborations. Also doing some rune readings, which is another collaboration that's very cool, and offering some workshops, which is pretty cool. And the tarot is always something I think people are interested in because it's something a lot of people have a tarot deck at home, but learning how to do it without a book, not ever needing a book, being able to really delve into the science of it. Yes, there is a science to it. To be able to use that energy to help predict things in like kind of these uncertain times, right? Some of these weird spaces that we're all in. Astrologically, tomorrow, guys, if you have been struggling like myself with some insomnia, if you've been struggling with some weird dreams, if you've been struggling with some emotional anxiety, some ups and downs, we're having a Venus conjunct Pluto. This talks about like major relationship changes, major relationship shifts, major, we're talking breakups, engagements, things of that nature. And in the sense of Pluto, like life altering. So ways to really enhance or completely change the trajectory of a relationship that you might have. Not all Venus is romantic, can be any intuitive coworker, but relationship and empathetic one for sure. Hi, Emma. And then tomorrow is going to be the full moon in Leo. So we're feeling the not Mars, but Mercury retrograde shadow space. We're feeling the full moon shadow space. We're feeling Mars and Sun going off in Lilith. So we're feeling this, oh, crapperson. And it is a valid concern in that sense that astrologically, the full moon in Leo is a full, be careful what you wish for. It is an expansion of all things. So it's basically anything that you speak into air. There's been a lot of people struggling with like dramatic issues, people just blowing off, popping off, stuff getting crazy. Well, guess what? It's going to get worse. And if you can imagine a tornado or this really passionate kind of space out in air or air magic, where we have Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. And all of this, what you're speaking, what you're doing, your passions, you have to get through this air and this cycle. It is a requirement of like you have to be able to maneuver through a tornado, and it's difficult to know exactly when and where it's going to move or turn or shift. And there's a lot of collateral damage. And any spell or any magic or anything that you throw into it, like don't quit, stop it, you're just throwing it into the wind. And so you're just adding stuff to the collateral damage. It's very, very difficult to work with. But the full moon in Leo kind of says, okay, we're in the eye of the storm. We're kind of getting this full center stage to be like, okay, we're halfway there. You've made it. And you're doing it and you're making it. And the meditation of really tapping into your highest self, your fullest potential, understanding who you are if you're alone on an island. Who are you without anyone else? What is pride? What is trust? What is honor? Doing some of the neurolinguistic programming and magic and this, of course. And if you're interested in learning magic, if you're interested in learning the science of it, please, 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 please join me. Now, I'm hoping that I'm seeing all of the comments. So if you are commenting, if you are joining me online, if you are somewhere, I'm seeing Sandy, I'm seeing Vanessa. So I'm seeing a few different, and I'm kind of wondering, like, how can I do this? If I can maybe do like that, where I've got one that is showing me one and one that's showing me the other, because I don't have Sandy on the StreamYard one. Do you guys hear me? I'm trying to get both. I'm trying to have my cake and I'm trying to eat it too, because that's what, I mean, you don't want to have cake if you can't eat it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Okay, then that way I see everyone's comments, because I really want to get everyone's comments very specifically on this topic that I'm about to insert. And this, you guys, I'm not even kidding you. This is an interesting space for me. I want to go in here with you and then I will pull tarot cards. So I promise, give me just 15 minutes of your time to talk some alchemy, to talk some magic to you, get your advice, especially if you're a math person. I know I've only been talking for 5 minutes. If you can push this to your math people or tag your math people now, if you're a math person, if you liked math, and I will try and do a shorter video and ask people, but I'm doing some really interesting alchemy with the equation of earth times water equals air times fire. This is a particular equation that I use in my mental health. It's also what I use in my magic classes and in my occult classes. It's an easy way to understand energy. Earth times water equals air times fire. Now, sex. I have this written over here because we are talking about sex magic and we are preparing for February. There's going to be all sorts of cool collaborations with like Scentsy and romantic partners and tools and oils and candles and stones and self-love and the frequencies of love and understanding love. But one of the classes, the more advanced classes, is sex magic. Absolutely, that's something people are interested in. It's not just orgasmic or tantric or anything, always about that. But in some spaces, it is this, understanding the giving and receiving of love energy and also how to use it in our bodies and in our space for the best possible outcome. In that space, maybe it is orgasm, and how do you define that? It's when the earth and water, or your thoughts and feelings, right? Thoughts and feelings, and air and fire, what you say and what you do, that they equal each other. And so the moment of orgasm is when on both parts, your physical and your inner, are going to be having a level of arousal and excitement, and you feel it, you think it, you are even excited saying it, having a vocal moment, and then feeling it physically. So in this space, we are doing a mathematical equation for particular types of frequencies and actually putting math and variables into this space. And you can see Earth, or our thoughts, is, and if any of you are familiar with quantum mechanics or some like really ridiculous math that I particularly do not love, which is why I am sharing it with you in hopes that you will help guide me and motivate me further. Potential. That's right. That's right. You start seeing this in like time, gravity, quantum mechanics, things like that. We start talking about potential variables. Potential fire. Potential completely the equal and opposite on the other part of the variable. And this is not a linear variable, meaning that this does not equal that. They equal each other, right? And so then water equals earth squared. Air is how many number of partners, always going to be at least one, right? Yourself, or however many partners are in the scenario. If you're an Opus Dei, maybe 12. If you're a Tom Cruise movie, if you're in maybe an initiation of some kind, maybe it's lower, maybe it's more, depends what we're talking about. But then you have fire, and that is your kinetic earth, or what you had hoped to happen in the E. right? And so this is kind of what we are working on in some more advanced classes. And I want to pop this up here and show it to you to give you an idea of individuals who they're like, I don't believe in magic, or I want to understand magic. I want to know how to use magic. Being able to break down the 8 different frequencies, for example, of love, and then be able to actually mathematically figure out, objectively measure in our life, and trying to figure out how to moderate and change the variables, which ones we actually have control over. And then, of course, this applies to life. This doesn't just apply to sex magic. This applies to life, mental health. It applies to all sorts of things. And depending on what kind of magic you work, you might have strengths or weaknesses across that board. You might be an earth witch, or you might be really good at water and intuition, or you might be really good at fire. It just kind of depends. Hey, Sandy, Vanessa, Emma, ooh, Deanne. Welcome. I'm seeing some kind of new names. Welcome, welcome, guys. If you are unfamiliar with me or you're brand new, welcome. I go by Paranormal Sarah, but I kind of come from a range of backgrounds. It could be that you know me from law enforcement, it could be forensic psychology, it could be the paranormal, it could be working in recovery, drug treatment, women treatment centers, crisis intervention, art, parapsychology, a range of places that I like to go meandering about in the metaphysical. And I'm so glad that you're joining me. So let's take a little bit to finish up here as we prepare for Thursday. And again, guys, don't forget, tomorrow is that full moon. So stop by a dollar store or wherever, pick up at a local craft store if you can, if you're able to safely, of course, and pick up a candle, use a Sharpie, use some paint, decorate it on your own. And Liz, Tina, Deanne, welcome. But decorate it, super glue stuff on that thing, get that candle safely, of course. When I see all these people rolling their candles and shit, like it looks really good and like maybe it's going to burn and for a brief moment it's going to smell nice, but then it's going to pop and sizzle and possibly catch something, especially on your altar, on fire. And that is not going to be what you desire. So you want to be very careful with some of the things like that. Don't. Instead, just the glass prayer, sorry, Jesus, right? They're meant for Catholic or those prayer spaces. And you can use those for intentions. I like to write all sorts of stuff on that, and I light it, and I know that kind of as it burns out, that's my, don't forget to do some kind of ritual for the full moon or new moon. I do it for both. Full moon, right? It's that manifestation. It's to go out, get naked, go out, party. I'm kidding. Or not. It depends on what kind of magic you work. But what are your goals? And to know that this age of Aquarius, that's air. So when I was talking about the types of magic, earth, water, air, and fire, now there's thousands of different types of magic, right? Because energy is just expansive and all ever ending, never dying, always transforming. But you can take it to the Alpha Omega. You can take it to the Elohim, the very beginning, the I am, and you can take it to that beginning light. And when you're looking at it, the observation theory, through light, the visible light spectrum, those of us in the paranormal, you can begin to decipher it through earth, water, air, and fire. And that's the best place, I think, to start working in a witch path and in an understanding path and in an application path. And that's what you're going to hear me talk mostly about in my Gypsy Tribe classes and in those spaces. And Leo, that's fire, guys. This is kind of being able to take all that Aquarius energy and do something. Actually, finally do the routine. Engage, do the behavior, clean the room, buy the desk, sign the papers, do the thing. The thing that we've been talking about doing. We're actually going to make the call. In my case, it's going to be some final calls to some podcasts, some projects I've been working on, some people, some publishers, some just stuff. Really get it going. Sign the stuff. Get it on paper. Then we sit back and we wait and we watch, because this is the eye of the storm, right? Going to have another shitstorm as it passes. Sit back, wait. Protection, binding, shielding, grounding, protection, shielding, like all the stuff, and then you're good. And in just a bit, about a week and a half, 2 weeks into February, we are going to be feeling great. We're going to feel amazing. And so that anxiety, that insomnia, that unsettled energy right now, this is a part of the moon and the retrograde. And the retrograde doesn't lift until February 20th, 21st. So kind of be prepared. Electronics going down. Internet going down. Stocks, if you're a penny stocks person, check we're not going to get into conspiracy theories, but just let me tell you, if you go to my stream on Facebook, there's a little bit of an insight there. Go, it's too late to buy GameStop, but maybe BlackBerry, it's not too late. Check out and see certain people taking control of the market, and that'll be fluctuating throughout the month. And it'll just so happen to be fluctuating in time with major internet outages and cell phone outages and some storms and some earth shaking and quaking and things like that to be happening in the astrology and predictions and prophecies. And tomorrow it starts with major breakups and major engagements. The Bachelor, things like this, major drama, and Venus as she moves in Pluto. So let's pull some cards. Who that is still joining me? Tina, Michelle, Liz, Deanne, Derek. If you guys are still joining me, welcome. If you're brand new. And again, let me know if you'd like me to pull a card, because yes, I am ready to pull a few cards before I cut back and then go watch some Vikings and catch up, because I've got a few more episodes to watch. So yes, Deanne says, oh no. So yes, get all of your things, buy them now. I believe the retrograde starts in a few days. So go and do the things, and then just know that all for February, you don't want anything that's going to be electronic to be dependable. Okay. So I see everybody. Yes, me. So Liz and then Aaron. Liz and Aaron, let me pull those first, and then the chat just like blew up. So don't forget, just keep asking and I will pull a card. So first, Liz, ooh, the Four of Cups. So the Four of Cups, this is kind of talking about, you know what? I'm tired. You know what? I don't want to do it. And this is that really feeling like you need to make a decision because things are placid or things are stagnant. You're ready for that change, and we're not necessarily ready to get rid of something. We are aware of the important domestic space, but intuitively there are just cups that we need to get rid of because they are not serving us. This is the Four. This is that space where sometimes it can imply that there's a negativity and a purging, and you're feeling anticipatory, and there's just some work that needs to be done in your intuitive relationship space. As the Leo full moon comes tomorrow, that means there's going to be rage or anger if you don't let it go. So let it go, cry it out, write it out, talk it out, let it go, bury it, do the things so that it doesn't fizzle and get hot and the pressure build up, right? Yes, this is the Deviant Moon deck, by the way, Rose. The Deviant Moon deck. I really like this deck. It's like very Tim Burtonish, right? Because we are in the apocalyptic times. No, we're not, but we could be, but we're not. But we're in the dimension God has forgotten, but kind of, not really. Aaron K. Ooh, the Page of Pentacles. So the Page, this is the intern position. The Page can be in some ways the Jack or the Knight, but it gets broken into the Jack, which is more masculine, the Page, which is more feminine. Both positions are implied as the intern, so they get to kind of have their toe in or their foot in the door, so to speak. They're not a 1 through 10 anymore. They graduated. They're since from that. And this is like, they're not in senioritis. They've been initiated, they've been hazed, and they're now in the group, right? They're in the group. And so you're the intern, but you're not royal yet. I mean, you've got the badge and the sash, and you can get in the door, but you've still got a lot of work. And the Page of Pentacles implies that you're thinking, maybe overthinking. And also, Aaron, that there are plans, there are things you need to be doing, organizing, analyzing, and that the next phase is obviously to kind of go out and bravely do it. You're going to be wanting to do it. And then, there's going to be female manipulation and just the feeling of this, and then being able to know the right timing. The Page is very smart, though. The Page is Capricorn energy. This says whatever projects you're working on are going to kind of start blossoming, really growing very positive and successfully by April. You're going to start seeing some of that sprout. And then absolutely by August, you're going to already kind of start to know what it is that is coming to fruition and how and what to expect for the new year 2022, which will be an entirely different energy. And it'll be one that is exciting. And this is all growth. This is all learning a skill. This is all mastering a trade. Very, very, very cool. Okay, Liz says my favorite deck. Thank you. Yes, she's already got her full moon plans going for tomorrow. Rose, I love this deck. Deanne would love a card. Thank you for your permission. Ooh, Deanne, this is a sword space. Not unlike the times. Swords is air. It's a battle out there. It's crazy out there. Deanne, this says stuff's going down. But look at you. Number 7. Hey, everybody in the middle of your fight. Hey everyone, look at me. I can dangle the sword like above my throat. I can take whatever you're fighting with, and I'm not only not scared of it, but I can like make entertainment out of it. This says, Deanne, be very careful. Be careful of this mastery that you have to deal with trauma and deal with craziness. You might be able to deal really well. But you know what? The time comes when that rope is going to break. And there's not going to be really anyone to blame, right? 7 is implying that it's luck, probability. Now, there is a mathematical equation to luck. It's not quite luck, it's yielding to luck. It's a really interesting way of doing magic, which again, we apply to math. But air and 7 says, listen, there's a lot of really good options. This may not be the best one. Be aware of your options, be aware and listen and know the source. Air asks you to know what you know. Are you sure? Are you sure? You may not be so sure if you knew that rope was breaking. So double check. This is just a double check card, and be sure not to entertain anyone. It may not be in your best interest, not worth your energy. Okay, be careful out there in the airspace because you're used to it and you're like, hey, I can do this. It's kind of interesting. So yes, Tina, it is an interesting realm. Haley says, gosh, I could really use a card. Haley, ooh, Haley, temperance. Haley, temperance. Temperance is all about, I mean, really, temperance. I think of iron. I think of going into the hot, cold, high, low. Ah, ah. It's coming in and out. It's really, the roller coaster of life. And it is like the more trauma you have, the more empathy you have. And this is a space that you are able to empathize. You're able to do what you do very well because of what you've been through. And this is a major life arcana card. So this is one of the major 22. It's implied of synchronicity of a life path, a life event, something you've already kind of pre-chosen as a life lesson, and that you've chosen this path to temper you, to harness and wield a little bit more of a power and strength. And it's time to take control of that and make sure that it's serving you. It's very, very important. Okay. Tina, Tina says, me next. Ooh, the Knight of Pentacles. Another Earth card, guys. Pentacles is Earth. Pentacles is discs or diamonds or squares. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. The Knight of Pentacles is the masculine knight going out to slaughter the dragon, to going out, like you see, the movement here, the momentum. I'm going to carry the money to the bank, sir. They are going, they're in the group. They have got the weapons to harness and to get through air. They're going to do it. This masculine energy implies it's kind of a young male that knows what they're doing. They're brave. They're willing to take the risk. And they're really good at investing in their money. And this is going to be a really good space to say, you know what, this person can lead me in a good direction and be a good person to help not only protect me because they're a knight, but they're also going to help me make good financial decisions too, which is really good. So keep that in mind, Tina. And thank you so much, guys, for joining me. Don't forget to go to Paranormal Sarah, and you guys can always, I've got some reading specials still up for January before the month ends. You're very welcome, Deanne. Hi, Jamie. Jamie goes, I have this deck. This deck is amazing. I have a lot of decks, and kind of getting a relationship with them is fun. Gail, I see you there, Gail. The King of Cups. This is a king, masculine energy, a man, a patriarch of energy that is intuitive, empathy, water, relationships, connections. This could be father, this could be brother, this could be boyfriend, but this is going to be like a life connection. And you can see here he's holding the cup and the chalice, and it's under the moon. Very intuitive for kind of the feminine. Water, even though this is king, is still very feminine. So it's going to be very deeply connected and attached to like our life soul feelings and our intuitions. Keep that in mind. This implies that there is a sense of control, or a dictator, or a man, or a masculine energy very much in charge of the intuitive space. And the king of all things, they do know how to dictate and do boundaries. That right now is a really important thing. So kind of look to the men in that space to understand how boundaries are done, and respect it, use it, apply it in your own space, and allow it to protect you in this kind of crazy air space. Okay, so that we don't evaporate and go everywhere and make a mess. Lisa, hello. Tina, you're very welcome. Lisa. And again, guys, the chat is just moving, so I'm going to pull a few more cards tonight. Don't forget, just let me know if you've already asked and I've not pulled you. I'm not missing or picking favorites. I'm just looking down when I can. Lisa. Ooh, so this is the Six of Pentacles. So six is kind of always for me nostalgia. I repeat that word because it takes us back, and Earth is back. Earth is past time. It's a point, it's a reference space to kind of the past. And Earth is our thoughts. So we're going to kind of go back to our sources. We're going to go back to that inception, back to the intention. And six says, gosh, I remember back when I was poor. This reminds me of the one time back when I had to restart. And it kind of is like, when you retire and that, you've been working all these years and now you have to kind of restart. But now you're restarting, but you have more money behind you. You have something that you can fall back on. And this says to remember where you were at this time, give as much as you want to receive. The investments that you have coming to you are absolutely that karma. Karma, of course, not being a monster that chases us, but being that we have become what we have done. So karma in that sense that you're going to have that. And that's really a cool thing to have implemented. So very, very cool, Lisa. You're welcome, Gail. Derek. Tina says, have a great night. You're going to try and get some sleep. That would be great, wouldn't it? Derek. And then Brenda. Derek. Ooh, Derek. Strength. So this is a really powerful card. I think you can see it's just illustrated really, really, really well. That this is about, yes, it's a major life card. So Derek, this is a major life card, major life arcana, all about being able to harness control, power, stamina, endurance, determination, knowledge of what it is you're fighting, knowing your monsters, knowing your counterpart. And look at this. It's going to be who out holds each other, right? Because if you let go, you're going to lose your fingers. You have to be very careful. This is kind of cumbersome. So be aware. Be aware of how this works. And be aware of the strength card and how to use it. Be aware that this is maybe in a space for timing, and that strength isn't always going to be physical muscle. It's going to be a little bit of the prowess and experience and maturity too. Okay? So Derek, keep that in mind. Hang in there. This is kind of a major life thing that you are hanging in there for, that determination and major battle on your hands. So there you are. Brenda. Six of Cups. Six of Cups. Nostalgia for things remembered, things in our heart. So this is, as you can see, we're watching a puppet show. When we're watching a puppet show, we are thinking back. We're thinking back on our childhood. And in some ways, we're like, oh, this takes me back, and I love this, and oh, it reminds me, and it's very fun. But yet, as an adult, we do it, and we're like, wow, this isn't what I remembered. Oh, wow, it really changes when you're an adult, huh? And in some ways, that juxtaposition can tarnish a memory. In other ways, it can make it even that much more sweet. So nostalgia can be a double-edged sword, right? This is nostalgia of emotions. So in some ways that's grief. In some ways that's, like for me in this COVID space, being separated from people that you maybe want to be with. It's a double-edged sword. We're doing it for their protection, but yet, time and space and bond is sacred. So we want to make sure we don't overthink or overfeel, and also that something is pure. There's something to be said about when something happens when it happens, and that if you're trying to recreate it in a different time, it won't work. It's not going to work. The variables are different. So understanding how to utilize our past emotions, let them evolve, but not compare them. That's hard to do. It's very hard to do. But this is what's going on here. And to not be entertained too much, but not take it too seriously. To know the story, but also kind of get more from it as well. Right? Yeah. So you're welcome, Derek. Good night, Tina. Lisa, you're very, very welcome. Thank you so much. Rose, my Rose. Rose, can you get a card? Absolutely. Ooh, the moon. The cow jumped over the moon. The moon, another major life arcana card. Rose, this is significant of subconscious, following that those dreams, dream weaver. It is that like going into the space of what your fantasies are, not being led by delusion, but listening to your feminine shadow work, doing that intuitive space, listen and going down there, but not getting lost. We have some Pluto, Neptune, Venus shifting going on. And so the full moon tomorrow in Leo, being able to use this, being aware, knowing what awareness is, being aware of peripheral, where it stops, where it starts, being aware of fear. Oh, I'm just scared of that because I don't know what it is. Or, ooh, I'm scared of that because it's coming up from my past and it's not real. These things are really important. The moon, it's bringing those feminine, intuitive waves and tides back up. And who knows what comes out from underneath the depths, right? As children, we're always thinking something could be lurking in that dark water. And that is exactly what the moon implies. It's what we can see and not see. Think of predators out in the full moon. This is when all the critters go out and they're like, oh, look, we can see all the things. And all the predators just snatch them up because you can see and your vision is acute and you're so overstimulated. It's why some people believe that paranormal investigators go out at night because we're a little bit more desensitized and acute to hearing things more likely to be a paranormal phenomenon. True or not, who's to say? But Rose, the moon is upon you. So Patricia Nixon, can I have a card, please? Yes, you can. You guys, as we finish up here, it's almost 10 o'clock. I want to thank you again for joining me, but don't forget you can go to paranormalsarah.com. You can join the Patreon, get free random readings, giveaways, crystal sales, auctions, messages for the occult, daily meditations, and things like that. My Gypsy tribe, it's where it's at, where it's at. Anyway, Patricia, the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords. This is like Lagatha. You don't want to mess with her. You don't want to mess with her. You don't want to get in a battle with this person. Nope. This is someone who will take you out. This is somebody who knows what's going on. This is somebody who, like, look at her sword. She's like, that matches my dress. Bitch, please. She will. She will. And so this is actually probably someone you want on your side. This could be you, the embodiment of you. This is the sharp-tongued airspace Aquarius right now. If you're going out there, be ready. Because the people out there are taking names. And so you either have to be that or be that. And so be that. And that's really powerful space. It's really sharp place. It's again, the shadow work for my witches and us working. Who do you trust? The loyalty, the understanding what trust and pride and some of those words really are and what they really mean. Boom. Super, super, super important. Derek, you're very welcome. Brenda, you're very welcome. Rose, how fitting, right? Angel, welcome. Angel and Steve, thank you for asking. My dad, he's doing okay. He's really not very happy with his health. And so we're hoping it gets better because he's restricted. Dialysis treatment. We're really fearful that the right to try is going to be revoked and some of the executive orders being signed in a hurry. And my goodness, that would just be horrible for my dad. So we're keeping our fingers crossed and candles lit and just positive vibes going. And I really appreciate that because, yeah, if you followed me online lately, you may have seen me cry because I've been stressed. But that's how it is, right? We're human. So, but thank you for asking. Angel, card. Boop. I got you. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay, so this is the Hierophant. Major life arcana, one of the 22, right? One of the major pathways, indicative of a major life event happening, transition, something big, something opportunistic, something spiritual, something that's an awakening. Well, of course, that's a generalized space. We're in the Aquarius, but no, this is for you and something serious, something that could be purpose, something that could be. And the Hierophant is that mentor space, that clergy space, that spiritual space, that awakening space, following these opportunities, knowing who's knocking at the door. Because as we see, the Deviant Moon deck, man, it just tells you how it is. He's got a little puppet in his pocket. Like, alms for the poor. You're not poor. I mean, alms for the kind of poor. You're not kind of poor. Uh, yes, please. Money or hell. Look what happened to him. Like the Hierophant. This is question. This is skepticism. This is ask questions. This is air. Air. When we go out into air, Archangel Raphael says, like he is in the teenager, Corey Feldman going, bitch, please. How do you know that? Who told you that? Where'd you get that? Where'd you hear that? Oh, yeah? I don't think so. Prove it. Show me. Uh-huh. Uh. That's air right now. And we've got it like tenfold. It's very, very stressful. And the Hierophant is like, yeah, come over here. I know how to do it. I've been here before. I can do this, yada, yada. Be careful of those influential spaces. Be careful of those influential spaces because you fall victim to them. And the Hierophants are out there. So be careful. Listen to yourself above all else. You have got very sharp intuitive skills. So listen to yourself. That's what I would say. So, Angel, there you are. Lisa, wow, you're welcome. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you guys joining me tonight. I appreciate you joining me on your Wednesday evening. Tomorrow's Thursday. We always think of that strike of lightning, that bolt of Chris Hemsworth and our coffee getting us a start to the day. Scandinavian power and Nordic Viking power. And I don't know, that's just kind of where I go. Sally, could you have a card? Absolutely. Thank you for asking. We have to have permission, right? Okay, don't be alarmed at the pregnant person on this card. But this is the Three of Wands or Three of Fire. The Three of Wands is the trifecta, right? Oh, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Achu. And so three is the third wheel. Three is, the long leg. Three, it's kind of uncomfortable. It's not an even dichotomy. It's not a balanced teeter-totter. It is the fulcrum. It is the fence rider. It is three. And so look at this person. They're like, well, I'm pregnant and I'm waiting. And the moon's like, maybe you should cut them. Look at them. They look like they need to be cut. And he's like, I don't know. I mean, I'm pregnant, so I could cut them because I've got another one on the way, but like, I don't know. The Three of Fire is collaboration. This is the third party either being the face behind you or the moon up ahead. But the likelihood that there is a third party person or a third wheel or a collaborative fence rider that not is necessarily doing anything, but just implying that something be done. And it's an unfair or unbalanced person in the mix. And to not necessarily make any decisions right now, I would suggest you wait until you get more information. It's a really good time for that right now. Of course, Mercury is going to go retrograde on February 2nd-ish, and then all electronic shit is going to go and communication is going to go wonky. Really trust your gut. But air stuff, it's going to just be a tornado of madness until the 20th. So do. And when I mean do, I don't mean cut or harvest or expect to be at a resolution. We're not going to be at the completion, Sally, of these projects until like August-ish. This is like go out there and buy the business cards. Go out there and start making the LLC. Go start putting it on paper, writing out the outlines, talking to people. Well, talking isn't the best right now, guys. I'm not even going to lie. Air, don't do it. Don't talk about it. Just do it. And when people go like, what are you doing? What are you the new business cards for? You say, here, take 10, pass them around. That would help me. Like, don't even talk about it. Encourage people to do. Just do it. Vanessa, thank you. I enjoy that you're enjoying listening. But Sally, I hope that helps you, and to just wait before you're like making any big decisions quite yet. So anyway, Vanessa says, February 2nd is my birthday. I hope nothing bad happens. No, nothing bad is going to happen. But that Mercury shift into retrograde, of course, retrograde, I love this because it's one of those spaces where I think people, they're like, what does that mean? Is it, like, oh shit. And that's not necessarily what it means. Retrograde just kind of means like, when you're pacing a train, I think of when I'm a kid, but I do this as a parent, as an adult too. And I'm driving up here in the North Minnesota. I love a long drive in the landscape. And I'll be driving and there'll be a train. and all of a sudden it's pacing me, and I can look over at the driver and you can toot toot, and we're going in the same direction. We're going in the same direction. And I can see him, he can see me, but then I, step on the gas and he's going a consistent 55 and I'm going 75. And so I end up passing the train. And at some point, for me to see that train, I would actually have to look back because it would be behind me. It would be out of my forward view, meaning that our ancestors went outside at this point, looked at the stars, expecting to see their deities, their constellations that tell them the time, the energy, and they went, oh, snap, Mercury's gone. And we know that when Mercury's gone, certain magnetic shifts, certain atmospheric shifts, and certain things happen that wouldn't, lo and behold, the coincidence be that our information, our communication, our vocal, our neurosynaptics, our hormones, our pituitary glands, people with Addison's disease, people on steroids, people who are menstruating, people who are pregnant, people who are highly hormonal or who are struggling with water related retention issues or inflammatory issues, these kinds of things. It's kind of interesting. When Mercury goes retrograde and we can't communicate certain things, dyslexia, Tourette's, communicative things, computer viruses, domestic disputes, arguments, cancellations, IT issues, you name it. Communication, to be able to think, to speak, and actually have it happen. It gets wonky. It's not clear. We know that Mercury, Apollo, the god of the great messengers, Hugin and Mugen, they don't effing show up when Mercury's not in the sky. And it's not that it's vanished. It's not that it's gone. It's just that it's behind us and we can't see it. But the energy and the influence isn't there. So our actual organic bodies feel a shift and things really do change. And 5G, 4G, and different broadband networks and certain solar flares, certain things, let me tell you, interestingly, in science, shift. Schumer, the resonating, all of it. It moves with Mercury retrograde. So whether it's suggestive, whether it's just a meme, whether it's the power of projection, or all of the ancient cultures, and we do say all of them, and what they have to say about the blue chakra and Mercury retrograde have just been wrong. But I doubt that. So it's kind of cool that that's going to be coming into play on February 2nd. That's not a bad thing. It just means that, like, Venus and body language. Think of Ursula. A man always liked a woman who doesn't talk very much. So just kind of learning how to write and how to speak and how to get your communication and your point across in other ways, and to understand you've got to be patient, that your car's not going to start, your printer's going to run out of ink, that things are going to be trying. It's going to be a tempering time. You're going to have to repeat yourself. It's not that somebody doesn't care. Don't take it personally. You really have to be resilient, and this is a space for integrity to shine. So Mercury retrograde can be a really fun place to see how people do. And I love it. So you guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Thank you so much for being with me and hanging in there. Steve, if you're still with me, I know you were waiting for a card. The 5 of Swords, halfway through the battle, halfway through the struggle, in the stress and in the chaotic environment and in the air space, the big fluctuating changes of the rules as you know it, likely a retirement and career change. Saturn is shifting, Jupiter is shifting. So health in some ways also taking some major back seats. All of this kind of stressful. But this is kind of that indication that you're halfway there. So optimism, pessimism, half full, half empty. This is going to be very indicative of the power of your mind, which I know, Steve, with you and your support system, you're going to be just fine. So hang in there. Derek, thank you so much for joining me. Guys, don't forget, if you're unable to go to Paranormal Sarah and get a reading, or if you just want to support me somehow or some other way, sharing this video is a big help to me. Being able to tag a friend below that might want a reading or want to partake in some of our crystal auctions. We've got some really cool stuff coming up. Or if maybe you or someone you know are interested in a reading, divination, learning tarot, wanting to understand science, paranormal, that kind of thing. Or you want to buy a book, one of my books. Someone wanted one of those recently. That was cool. So don't hesitate to go to paranormalsarah.com or check out my Patreon if you want to join the realm of projects. And yeah, collaborate with me, join me. And I can't thank you enough for getting a card, giving me permission to share divination with you online. So as you can hear, my kids are still trying to get to sleep. So I will join you tomorrow morning, guys, for Thursday. I'll be doing my daily Dorothy meditations. And yeah, I cannot wait for the next crystal show. So thank you so much for joining me and helping me make some of that fun stuff happen. So you guys, I will talk to you later. Until next time, I'll talk to you then.